After I dropped my wife off at the airport for her business trip, my 8-year-old son grabbed my arm from the back seat, shaking. "Dad, we can't go home," he whispered. "I heard Mom planning something bad for us." I thought he was scared. I thought it was just a child's imagination. So, instead of driving home, I pulled into a dark lot across the street and waited. 10 minutes later, headlights stopped in front of my house. And when I saw who stepped out of the car beside her, my entire world went silent. Hello everyone, and thank you for staying with me up to this moment. Please drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. It helps more than you realize. And while you're there, tell me honestly, if your 8-year-old warned you not to go home, would you listen? Leave your answer below, because the truth behind that warning is darker than you might expect. Just so you know, the next part of this story contains some fictionalized details added for dramatic and educational purposes. Any similarity to real names or locations is coincidental, but the lesson behind it is very real. The smell of her perfume was still lingering in the car. It was a heavy floral scent, expensive stuff that I had paid for with the grease on my hands and the sweat on my brow. Kesha had leaned in just 5 minutes ago, her lips brushing my cheek with a cold precision that I had mistaken for affection. "Have a safe flight, baby," she had said. Her smile was dazzling, the kind of smile that could light up a room, the kind of smile that had made an old man like me feel young again. She told me not to wait up because the conference in Chicago would run late. She stepped out onto the curb at the departure terminal, heels clicking with confidence. She looked beautiful. She looked innocent. She looked like the love of my life. I watched her walk through the automatic doors without looking back once. She was a woman on a mission. I put the car in drive and turned to check on my son in the back seat. "Say goodbye to Mom, Leo," I said. But Leo did not speak. He was curled up in the far corner of the leather seat, his knees pulled up tight against his chest. He was shaking. It was not the air conditioning. It was fear, pure raw terror radiating off his small body. "Leo," I asked, my voice softening. "What is wrong, son?" He looked up at me, and his eyes were wide and wet. A child should never look like that, especially not when looking at his own mother. I merged onto the highway, heading back toward the house. The silence in the car was heavy. Usually, Leo would be talking about his video games or asking for ice cream, but today he was silent as a tomb. "Dad," he finally whispered. His voice was barely audible over the hum of the engine. "Dad, please." I looked in the rearview mirror again. "What is it, son? Are you feeling sick?" Leo unbuckled his seatbelt. He climbed forward, grabbing my shoulder with a grip that was surprisingly strong for an 8-year-old. "We cannot go home, Dad. Please do not drive home." I let out a nervous laugh, trying to lighten the mood. "What are you talking about, Leo? It is pizza night. Just you and me." "No," Leo screamed. It was not a tantrum. It was a desperate plea for survival. "Mom is not in Chicago. She lied." I frowned, my hands tightening on the steering wheel. "Leo, stop it. You saw her go into the airport." "I heard her," he said, and tears began to stream down his face fast and hot. "I heard her on the phone in the bathroom this morning. She had the shower running really loud, but I heard her." I pulled the car over to the shoulder of the highway. The hazard lights clicked rhythmically in the silence. Click, click, click. I turned around to face him. "What did you hear, Leo? Tell me exactly what you heard." He took a deep breath, shuddering as he tried to get the words out. She said, "Tonight is the last night for the old man." She said, "The medicine has soaked in enough." She said, "His heart will just stop and it will look like an accident." The world seemed to stop spinning. The cars rushing past us on the highway became a blur. Medicine. I touched my chest instinctively. For weeks, I had been feeling dizzy. My vision would blur in the afternoons. I was tired all the time. Kesha's doctor, the one she insisted I see instead of my old friend Vance, had told me it was just age. He said it was stress. He gave me vitamins. Kesha gave me a glass of warm milk every single night. "For your bones, baby," she would say, "for your heart." My blood ran cold. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white and my joints HDHD. My son was not a liar. Leo was smart. Too smart for his age. He observed things. Who was she talking to? I asked. My voice sounded strange to my own ears, hollow and distant, like I was speaking from underwater. Leo looked down at his shoes. She called him H. She said, H, bring the gun just in case the poison does not finish him. H. There was only one H in our lives. Hunter, my son-in-law, my daughter Tasha's husband, the man who sat at my table every Sunday, the man who shook my hand and called me sir, the man who I had loaned $50,000 to just last month for his failing business. I did not turn the car around. I did not drive to the police station. Not yet. I needed to see it. I needed to know it was real before I destroyed everything. I drove past our subdivision and pulled into an old abandoned lot across the street from my house. It was overgrown with weeds and shadows, perfect for watching without being seen. I killed the engine. I killed the lights. Stay down, Leo. I whispered. Cover yourself with this blanket. Do not make a sound. We waited. The minutes ticked by like hours. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a text from Kesha. Landed safely. Miss you already. Don't forget to drink your milk. I stared at the screen. The lie was so casual. So easy for her. Then I saw it. Headlights cutting through the darkness. A black SUV. It did not pull into the driveway. It stopped right in front of the cab. My house. The house I bought with sweat and grease and smart investments over 40 years. The passenger door opened. A woman stepped out. She was not in Chicago. She was wearing the same dress she wore to the airport. Kesha. She did not have her luggage. She had a key in her hand. The driver got out. Tall, blonde hair, Hunter. He walked up to my wife. And he kissed her. It was not a friendly kiss. It was hungry. It was possessive. Want part 2 in latest comment.